Hello, Merry Christmas. I hope you had a good year. Got this beer here. I'm going to try to make this video quickly because I'm supposed to be socializing and doing Christmas stuff. But I was just blocked by commentator and talk show host Dave Rubin. Now, the reason I was blocked is, as he said, I guess follow him around every single day on Twitter and criticize him for using and pushing the term regressive left every single day. The way he put it was, rarely do I block people, but this guy's gotten on the special list of about 10 people because every day he's just saying the same thing over and over again, which is giving me shit. But he never said what I was giving him shit about, or like why I was criticizing him. I was criticizing him for using the regressive left every single day, because as far as I'm concerned, it's like a well poisoning technique, you know? And I thought about being blocked by him, and I realized, what would I be missing by being blocked by this guy? All he ever talks about is the regressive left. Like, for example, Star Wars came out recently, and you'd think Star Wars would be something that could really bring people together, because there's so many fans of Star Wars in the world. And he just used it as an opportunity to create this hashtag, which was like, regressive Star Wars, and then have little memes of Star Wars characters doing things, and then like made up regressive talking points. Like, for example, Anakin beheading Lord Dooku, I think that's his name, and then Dave writing, you know, extrajudicial beheadings are still better than our justice system or something. You know, like, oh, progressives love Saudi Arabia and the way they do things in Saudi Arabia or something, so Anakin beheading Lord Dooku is I don't know, worse than America or whatever. And it's like he took the opportunity of Star Wars coming out to divide people even more. And he's like, I gotta keep working on this regressive left thing. Like, there's us, and then there's the regressive leftists. And then today, I just gotta check it, because I want to remember what it said. He basically... Oh, I just got some other lovely tweets. Do you understand the meaning of words? Regressive. Becoming less advanced. Returning to a former or less developed state of a tax, taking a proportionally greater amount from those of lower incomes. I don't know what the fuck that has got to do with what we were talking about. He said, people that blindly label critics of Islamism and liberal Muslim reformers as bigots and racists are by definition regressive. I said, I don't know if it's regressive, but it's certainly a bad thing. He said, becoming less advanced. What has that got to do with labeling critics of Islamism and liberal Muslim reformers as bigots and racists? I would say that would be based entirely on whether these people are expressing themselves in ways that could be perceived as bigoted or racist. And if they're not, the word regressive doesn't quite fit. It's more like an ad hominem, or it's more like smearing, or, you know, a label, like a saying something bad about somebody. People do that all the time, and it's not ideal, it's not good. I remember when Majid Nawaz got called a porch monkey, and that was fucking hideous, and I said as such. I was like, that's really horrible. Just making up some other word, like regressive, or whatever. I mean, people keep trying to tell me that it's actually a real thing, like, but I don't think the word regressive really captures like Islamic apologists. It probably more captures like actual quote-unquote Islamists, like the people running the regimes in Saudi Arabia and this kind of thing. They probably are regressive in a very real sense. So I think it's very unfair to say that wish-washy liberals are regressive. I just think it's a very cruel label to put on a whole bunch of people, and I think it's very unfair. So Dave Rubin did this post here, this message here, and it says, regressive left, hysteria, denial of reality, thought control, name-calling, projection of guilt. And it just made me think of Dave Rubin and what he does on his channel. Hysteria. Every single fucking day he talks about the regressive left. Every day. Without any let-up at all. He even used Star Wars, as I said, to go on and on and on about regressives. Denial of reality. Well, he doesn't want to talk about what America has been doing in the world. He doesn't want to talk about foreign policy. He doesn't want to talk about the actions of Israel or anything. Those are part of reality, and he denies those. Thought control. I give him a pass on that, but I give us a pass on that too. I think propaganda is not the same as thought control, which is a very specific thing, but he does take part in propaganda. Name-calling, yes, he calls people regressive every single fucking day. Projection of guilt. I don't think Dave or those other people have any real guilt. Just because foreign policy and Israel's actions are problematic doesn't mean those guys caused it. I think that would be way too much to put on somebody, and I'm not going to do that to them. But, yeah, I said, sounds like you, Dave. It does. At least 3 or 4 of the 5 sound more like Dave than the regressive left, which is some shit he made up. And then he blocked me, because he's like, oh, every single day this guy is going on and on about how bad the regressive left is. And even that is hypocrisy, because I go on and on about regressive left every day being something I don't agree with, because he brings it up every single day, in every single context, in relation to everything. He even recently had an interview with this guy, Peter, I'm not going to say his name right, Bogazian, I think, who's like this famous atheist guy. And Dave himself said, oh, you know, we were supposed to talk about lots of other stuff, but it just started being about the regressive left. And of course it did, because you guys are so put upon and so attacked by these regressive left people that you've invented, the boogeyman. They're the people that you have to be against every single day to give you a reason to get up. Of course you can't help but talk about them. And is Dave going to spend a whole nother year just going on and on and on, regressive left, regressive left? And I felt a bit bad when he blocked me, because I do care about whether he is doing a good job, because I feel like he's a likable guy as a person and he seems kind of cool. And when he was on the Young Turks, I actually felt for him when the rest of them ganged up on him on the subject of Israel. And I was like, they're being unfair. Can't they have other points of view on the Young Turks? And I was on his side. But to see what he's come over the past year is just this guy who's just spreading division, spreading a label, while accusing everybody else of spreading division. And I think it's really disappointing, and I couldn't help but just tell him every single day, like, look, what you're doing is not useful, and it's not what you said you would do. You said you would build a dialogue. You said that you would bring people together. You're not doing that. You're just dividing everybody, except the people who agree with you. They don't feel like there's division, because they're on the, like, in-group. They feel like, oh, we're part of it now. We're part of this crew who's right. We're the true liberals. Other people are the cause of Saudi Arabia. And other people love terrorism and they love supporting Al-Qaeda and they love supporting ISIS. Well, that's not true, you know. So I think what Dave has done has been very negative. So I thought to myself, what would I be missing from Dave Rubin's tweets? Unless he starts having other subjects and other guests who don't just agree with him all the time. I feel like I'm quite interested in these guests. I'm actually interested in seeing Sam Harris talk, and I'm interested in seeing Ayaan Hirsi Ali talk, and I'm interested in seeing Majid Nawaz talk, and all of these other people. But I feel locked out of the conversation, because the moment I watch them, especially with someone like Dave, they're not talking about the world, and they're not talking about things that are occurring. They're just talking about regressive left. And Dave pushes that in every single interview. He just pushes it and pushes it. Like, this is the talking point, this is what we've got to get out there. And it really puts me off. And I couldn't help but show my disfavour. So, you know, I feel bad that Dave blocked me, to be honest. But I also know that I won't be missing anything, so... I mean... well, that's my feelings on that. It always feels strange to be blocked by an influential person, but I can't help but say how I really feel and give my actual point of view. I can't self-censor just for the sake of pleasing everybody. It's also very bizarre because about 2 or 3 days ago, Richard Dawkins followed me. So I got followed by Richard Dawkins, and then I was like, whoa, dude. Like, my views are very different from yours, Richard. I sent him a private message saying, like, thank you for following me. I often disagree with you, Richard, but I really appreciate it, or whatever. And I'm just waiting for him to unfollow me and block me, too, because based on what I tweet about and my point of view and my opinion, I could not see him actually wanting to follow me for a very long period of time. And it's funny, because him following me, like, people could see Richard Dawkins was following me, and it sent a flood of people to my Twitter feed, and then when they saw the kind of things I actually tweet about, which is making fun of this idea of regressive left and sort of fighting back on it, heaps of them unfollowed me straight away. They were like, oh, this guy's following Richard Dawkins, he must really agree with Richard Dawkins. And then they read my Twitter feed and they're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have followed this guy. I need to get back in my little bubble. So it's just funny, like, the way it all works. It's so fucking tribal. I'm a fan of the Young Turks, but you guys can disagree with them as much as you fucking want, and I'm not going to block you, and I don't care. And if you want to give me shit every single day for my conduct, if it's valid, go right ahead, and that's the problem. I feel that it is valid, that regressive left is a load of fucking bunk. And no one's ever gonna, well, I mean, Dave's never gonna agree on that. And a lot of people are not gonna agree on that, and we're just gonna go around in circles. But that's the internet, and that's life there. So, I mean, sad to be blocked, but I won't miss his content, so what can you do?